It's another Friday and we are back right where we were last week. How have you been? I hope you've been awesome. I've had a good week, I think. All in all, we're alive, we're breathing, and we thank God for the gift of life. Once you have life, you have everything you need. Any other thing can be worked on. So if this is the first time you're listening to my podcast, I go by the name Amma, MFA, Doris, Tinkerbell, Tinker, Emmy, Mummy. It depends on where you know me from, and those are my names. They depict different aspects of me, and thank you for passing by. As you can see, initially when I started this podcast, I just wanted to talk about the very many different aspects of me, but I decided to speak about abuse first, which is very dear to me. And it almost seems as if so many people have so many questions, and the more I do research, the more knowledge I gain, the more I find information, and the more I want to share. So today we are going to talk about, this is emotional abuse. Last week this is abuse, which is general and giving information about what typically abuse generally is. So today I want us to talk about, this is emotional abuse. Now, I've had so many conversations when people are incapable of placing a finger on the abuse that's happening because they seem like nothing, but then they feel the pain, the degradation, the shame, the guilt, trying to measure up to standard, and they're uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to deal with it. The abuser also adamantly and intentionally refuses to admit that their behavior or actions are hurtful. Right? Now, they do that because once they accept that what they are doing is hurtful, then they don't have a right to do it again. Do you understand? But their intention is not to stop. Their intention is to keep on using all kinds of means to control. So never in a million years will they admit that my behavior is abominable, my actions are hurting the one person I claim to love the most in the world, the partner I have chosen to do this thing called life with, and I'm just hurting them. So it becomes, funny enough, I was having a conversation with someone today. Let me digress a bit. And I was telling them that, this whole idea, I was just listening to music and I was listening to love songs. I feel like besides Christian music, love songs, I'm a romantic. I love the idea of love. I love seeing people in love. I love loving people. So you can never take that away from me. It's just who I am, And so that's it. And I was listening to the music and I was thinking, how funny it is that we tend to say that marriage is hard, but yet marriage is supposed to be modeled on the love that God has for us. It's so easy for God to love us because no matter what we do, we never fall short of His love. He doesn't use our faults against us. He doesn't use our mistakes against us. He doesn't use anything whatsoever, not a dent in character. The love He has for us always renews us in His eyes, and we are the apple of His eyes. So if marriage is supposed to be founded on the love that God has for us as His children, marriage shouldn't be hard. I feel like sermons and books and cultural and human behavior have seeped into the whole institution of marriage and has caused us so much damage. But love in its pure form is easy and true and honest and adorable, So back to where we were. This is emotional abuse. I think I need to do an episode on this thing because it's really dear to me, and that's what I will say. So they also handle, like I was saying, the abuser will adamantly and intentionally refuse to admit that their behavior or actions are hurtful. They also hardly ever apologize. They will trivialize it and they will say things like, but I said I was sorry, or "Nase my power chow," or "Then care sorry." My Ghana is not top notch, but I can say a few words, and then ewe "Medekugu day." They will say something. They will say something to imply they said sorry after you insist. But the sorry, when you've dealt with an abuser, when the sorry is just to shut you up. You know when the sorry is just to close the cycle because they need to get something from you. You know when the sorry is just to appease you because they themselves have gotten the high they want, and then they want to start another episode of love bombing, leading up to another love bombing, the peas, then the little knickknacks, leading up to an event or episode, and then they get the high again. So everything is geared towards a reaction. So the sorry is never deep. Or they will argue about the facts of the situation and say, well, because you said this, that's why you made me react this way. That wasn't my intention. Like, nothing is ever straightforward with them. You understand? So they even go to the extent of skewing information in such a way that they can use as validity when it comes to smear campaign. Trust me, we've talked about smear campaigns. They will damage your reputation in the eyes of people who they know can help you, who you can talk to, who they feel that are kind and can give you support. Because you see, it doesn't take an abuser, it doesn't take a victim to leave an abuser. It takes a community to help a victim to stand on their feet, So it's not, and the abuser, funny enough, the abuser is aware of that fact that it doesn't take a victim. So anyone or anything that they feel like is a support system for the victim, they have to infiltrate it. It's as simple as that. So when these things happen, they will do these things and kind of carve a certain impression so that they can have their way. Now, today I just want to describe the various aspects of emotional abuse and what it is. Emotional abuse is name calling. Oh, you're fat, you're lazy, you're stupid. It's they after your wife has had kids or your husband, and you deliberately call them obolo to the extent where your friends have license to call them obolo, or you call them skinny, you eat so much you can not grow fat, or you eat everything that you can find, and if they drop a bag because they've had a long day and they're tired at a place where you don't approve, it means they're lazy. What's the worst that could happen? You could pick up the bag from there and go and put it there for them and say, oh, you must have been tired when you dropped off this bag here. By the way, I've put it where it's supposed to be. So just in case you're looking for it, the next time that they're about to drop the bag, they'll go like, oh, let me just go put it there so he doesn't come and pick it because, and go and put it. So they'll just make the effort because they remember the kind deed, So humiliation, negating, critiquing, derogatory pet names, and whatever, all those things, characterization is emotional abuse. You're always lazy. You're always tired. You're always untidy. You're always wrong. Everything you do is termed as a part of you, basically. You carve bread. You're going to the room to pick something before you come and clear the crumbs because something happened. That's how you always leave the kitchen, Yelling. They will yell at you, commanding you, patronizing you so that you keep quiet. Public embarrassment. Telling you to shut up at an event. Telling you not to dance at an event. Telling you to sit somewhere at an event because they don't approve. All those things. Sometimes they will even there's a scenario where someone went somewhere with their spouse and refused to have them order anything because, it's expensive. Even the people around offered that, oh, you can't do that. No, I can buy the ingredients that they've used to make this thing and go and make it at home. Like, do you know how embarrassing that is? Meanwhile, your spouse wasn't aware you're going to that place. If you didn't have money, you could have said, oh, I didn't prepare for this. Let's go and come back another day. But you don't take your wife or kids to such a space and then behave like that. So all those little public embarrassments are emotionally abusive, right? Dismissiveness. They minimize anything which concerns you, be it your ambitions, be it your goals, be it your dreams, be it that you're tired, be it that you're ill, be it that there's a need that you want to have them meet, is never something of concern when it comes to you. Everything has to be around them or the kids. There's not a time where you ought to be the center of attention. No, it will not happen. So they are dismissive. They will never talk about it. But when you do something and you try to help yourself, they get upset. Like, for instance, you want to start a business because you've taken time off to take care of the kids and you need money to start the business. Your spouse is very capable of helping you start the business. You ask them for a certain amount of money, even with the promise to pay back, and they're like, oh, next week, and it's a year. Now you decide that, you know what, this dude is not going to help me. So you take matters into your own hands, borrow from your friends, get savings, and you start a business. And they're like, when you got the money that you needed, why didn't you tell me what you wanted to do with it? Excuse me, hello? Do I tell you what to do with the money that you get from your business? No, I don't even know what goes into the money that you get from your business. So basically, that's just what it is. You know, they joke around and play with you, and then you know that their joke always has an undercurrent because they want to portray a certain version of you to help them perpetuate their abuse. Because if the version of you that they are tarnishing doesn't exist, I mean, why are they doing what they're doing? Do you understand? So they have to create a certain perception about you to make it stick, so that when they're abusing you, they think that there's a justification. But there's no justification for abuse. If you think your partner has cheated and you feel like you cannot stay with them, you know what to do. If you feel like they're not worthy of your love anymore, you know what to do. If you think that they are not helping you push your business anymore and you don't want them around you, you know what to do. None of these situations call for abuse. If they're upset and you're angry, you know what to do. You get what I mean? So abuse is just an excuse for cowardly folks to control and misuse people just because they can. There's no reason why they shouldn't have a reasonable conversation and actually solve any issue they have, you know? So they push down your interest, they push your button by using any information they know will hurt you as a ploy. So they know that they're accusing you of infidelity, and they know very well that is not true, and they know it angers you, but they keep on pushing that in your face, even in front of people, so you will react, and then they will say, you see what I was telling you. She doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to talk about it. But God knows that is a lie, and you're livid at that point because they are reducing the abuse to imaginary lies, and it's deliberate, and it shows that they are not ready to change. You know, so that is emotional abuse. Now, control and shame, right? They use threats, telling you they will throw your things out of the house. They will stop paying fees if you say you would like to leave for a while. They will also go and say, stop, doing XYZ, or I'll lock you out if you have a meeting with your friends or you're going out with your friends. You leave the house and within an hour they're calling you to come back, otherwise they will lock you out, and all of those things, knowing fully well that they are lies. Digital spying, checking your emails, checking your phone records, checking your text messages. Look, if a relationship is wholesome and strong, you should be able to go into each other's phones. Even if you see something that's untoward, what you do is ask and accept the explanation, and if there's a doubt, ask. People send all kinds of messages to people. Your spouse might have ignored it. They might not even have answered or whatever. But because you're looking for something, you hold on to it and you decide that, oh, I'm going to use it against you. Checking email records, checking phone records, checking WhatsApp messages, Telegram, anything that you feel like, well, but what are you even looking for? If that in itself is no trust. So financial control, controlling what goes in and out of the house management, when money comes in, at what pace. Meanwhile, the cleaning, the cooking, everything is done by the spouse, who is usually female. So they are your beck and call. Lecturing. Lecturing your spouse like they were a child. You forget that they've grown up in a certain way and they do their things in a certain way. So have you. So why are you lecturing them instead of having a discussion? Because they might have a very logical reason why they are doing the things that they are doing. Unilateral decision making. You make decisions. Don't tell your spouse about it. Don't tell the family about it. You just come and you say this is what it is, and that's it. No argument, nothing. Direct others. Go grab me water. Go grab me food. Go put this here for me. Go take this and that. Treating you like a child, like I said. Lecturing and treating you like a child are similar. Outbursts. They just get angry and just leave. Go walk out and just leave. Now, all these things also, another form is unpredictability. They use others, so they are unfriendly and they accuse you, they blame you. They do so. They are unpredictable. You don't even know when they are going to be angry or when they will switch out on you. They use others against you. So for instance, they will come and tell you, oh, Kwesi Menu said you are unfriendly, you're not smiling. Meanwhile, they've told you that don't talk to these people because they talk too much or they've done this. Meanwhile, they are telling them that, oh, she's gone to sit in the car, she doesn't want to talk to you, or why didn't she say hi to you, that kind of thing. They are accusing you, they are blaming you, they are in denial, they use jealousy, they accuse you of flirting or cheating on them, lowering your standards because someone hugged you, someone came to say hi to you, like all kinds of things. It's immediately they see someone having a conversation with you, they say things like, oh, why are you talking to this person? It's tedious. Turning the tables. They blame you for causing their abuse. So if you behave this way, like how are you going to behave this way away from your natural self until they are tired of you? You don't know. Turning the tables, blaming you and for their rage and denying something they know is true. Gaslighting. You know that, right? Like I have an episode of gaslighting. They know very well that what they are saying is a lie, but who cares? They will use it to their advantage. Using guilt. Sometimes saying, oh, you're the one who wants to separate the family. Meanwhile, the family unit is broken because of their actions and inactions. And so, what do you mean? If it was so important to you, you'd have held on to it, Saying you have no sense of humor when they are trivializing your pain and you get upset. Blaming you for getting angry when they pushed you to the wall. They threaten you or try to destroy your stuff. They emotionally neglect you and isolate you. They don't even integrate you into their family. So no matter what you do, you're never accepted, So you just have to find your path. Now there's emotional neglect and isolation. They won't talk to you. They will just hang in their room and that's it, Demanding respect. You must defer to them all the time. Like, why would you do that? Why didn't you tell me first? No, it's not fair. You go do something around the house, clean, get somebody to come and read. Why didn't you tell me that you got someone to come and read? I'm not going to. Who asked you to do that? next time seek permission from me before you do anything around the house. It's our house, remember? And it's not a major, I'm not breaking a wall or whatever. It's just cleaning, They keep you from socializing. So they monitor you. Like I said, you go out and they are calling you, come back. They withhold affection and they use intimacy as a weapon, turning people against you. They are indifferent when you're hurt. They are just some way, So emotional abuse is basically something that degrades you, something that hurts you and takes away your your feeling of self. It comes with a lot of guilt and pain and all kinds of I don't know the word to use for it, but it's not a pleasant experience to go through. And I saw this somewhere and I'll read it. It says emotional abuse works like this. You're screamed at and then not knowing any better, you stand up for yourself. You think this is the way of being strong. You think this is defense, a defense tactic. But this only provokes more screaming. Going silent provokes more screaming too. So what do? But usually it keeps the threats to a minimum when you're silent, because you're not giving them anything to hold on to, right? It keeps just at screaming and not shoved down the stairs. Going silent, but usually keeps the threats to a minimum. They sometimes order you to pack your stuff to get out. So you learn how to go silent, how to play dead, how to cry without making a noise, how to swallow noise, how to wipe your cheeks, get out of the car and go about your day. You learn when the screaming has stopped, when the two of you are in the car or out to dinner and you're all smiles, all asking for favors, all questions. You're still hurt and annoyed and want to ask them, how are you doing this? How are you being comfortable doing this to me? How can you speak to me like this? How can you pretend you did not say those things? How can you even have forgotten? But you've learned. So you listen to, can I borrow your keys? And how was your day? And you play dead. You swallow the noise. And sometimes it doesn't matter who is speaking to you. It doesn't matter if they are a friend. It doesn't matter if their criticism is constructive. It doesn't matter. You've learned. Any sort of speaking, any raising of the voice, any insult, and you play dead. So you are just basically dead inside. You are not reacting to anything, So that's just what emotional abuse is. 2 words, but deep and deep and deep. What I want you to do if you're going through this situation, or anyone going through this situation, is accept that the abuse isn't your fault or responsibility. Don't try to reason with your abuser. It's unlikely that they will stop or break this pattern of behavior without professional counseling. And that is their responsibility. It's not you, the spouse's responsibility, to provide help that they need, right? So disengage and set boundaries. Be strict but firm. Limit exposure to the abuser. Exit the relationship if you can, and give yourself time to heal. Trust me, it gets better with time. So I hope you've learned a bit more about emotional abuse, and I hope that this podcast has been helpful to you. If you know anyone who will need any help whatsoever, kindly let me know. Until same time next week, I'd say thank you for listening. I love you. Stay safe out there. Wear your mask and follow the protocols. God bless.